It's been a long time. I don't know if it's been that long, but I just finished a video with Hershey that we just did together. So some of the stuff that's in that video I may talk about in this video. So anyway, just watch both of them. Um, so yeah, I am here with my little ghosty friend. Isn't he cute? So this is actually the size. Oh my God, he's as big as my head. He's bigger than my head. Wait, does he cover my whole face?
No, you need help.
No, does he?
Yes, he does.
Oh my God, he's bigger than my head. What? Why is that so? My face looks really shiny.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think it's the good lighting. Why don't you turn this light on when you do videos?
Oh.
This is much better. Anyway, so yes, I'm doing studio stuffs. And so as a result of that, you're going to hear my random thoughts. And I haven't talked to you guys in so long, like through a live stream, that I don't know how much studio work I'm actually going to get done, but I'm okay with that. So anyway, yes, this is one of the little ghosties that we have. So right now he is in greenware form and he will have to get fired. I got to clean him up first. He'll get fired and then he'll be a ceramic ghosty ready to be painted. So I'm actually going to where can I put these? Oh, this one's heavier. So we have two of them. Boop, 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 boop. Where can I put these, honey?
That's a good question. Huh. I don't know. Be careful, they're gonna.
Okay, so
You know what? The black right there in my bag, right there on the second shelf by the second shelf, right there in my black bag. You could probably put one there.
I guess we'll just do it like that. So anyway, we are in, or I am, we are, Herschel's here too, but he's just on the other side. I'm in the man cave, and we have turned this into our at-home production space because we realized that being able to pour at, I don't know, 7:30 at night or 8 in the morning or midnight, and being able to pour at home is much more convenient than having to go someplace. Also, when I'm at the studio, I don't really have a lot of time because if the studio's opened, or if I'm there, the studio's opened. And so I'm tending to customers and such. So we have our storage elsewhere. But are you giving me kisses? Okay. We bring the molds home that we're currently working on so we can get those poured, and then we'll cycle those out. But yeah, so I'm going to be pouring some molds. I'm probably not going to pour the big ones. I poured a lot of big ones last night, and I'm pretty sure I threw my back out and activated my sciatica. So I'm not super excited about that. So I'm like, I'm going to leave that to you because these molds, so this is a piece of a mold right here. This right here weighs probably, I don't know, 5 pounds? You think?
Something like that.
Yeah, this is like a 5-pound bag of sugar. So the pieces together are 10 pounds. So that's already 10 pounds. And then you pour in the wet slip, which is liquefied clay, and it's probably like 40 pounds, right?
I don't know if it's that heavy.
It seems heavy. But then you have to like shake it and get all the stuff out. And so it throws my back out. So anyway, that's that. So I think I'm going to try to pour some little pieces. I like pouring the little ones. They're cute too. I probably will pour another witch and another plate and another. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to move the Santa bag aside. I don't need you right now. Oh, is there a chat?
Huh? No. Oh, I don't know. I'm doing some behind the scenes stuff.
Oh, okay. All right, so I gotta go get the, or actually, do you mind going and getting the slip?
Yeah, I can get it.
Thanks. Okay, so we're gonna have to do another video for the studio channel, and it won't be a live stream, but I'll show you some of my tools for what I do. And
This right here, big?
yeah, it's full, so.
I can tell. Oh! Now this right here is at least
80.
heavy.
Careful.
Yeah, that one's got some weight to it.
So, what are you doing?
I'm sure folks are like, ugh.
These are 4-gallon buckets, and these are filled with the slip.
Liquefied clay.
Yes. And so this is actually my reclaiming bucket. So slip that is too chunky or the pieces that I cut off. If it's clean clay, then I will salvage it and I put it back in here. Recently I went to an estate sale and found it on Craigslist, went to an estate sale and got a whole bunch of more molds and got some equipment and tools and stuff. So I actually ended up getting a drill mixer, which I was super excited about, with all kinds of different attachments. And so it's basically like a hand mixer, but on steroids, right? So it's a drill and it's got these big long attachments that are like this long that mix. So you can mix glaze. I guess they use it to mix cement, maybe. I don't know. I mean, it's a regular tool that construction peeps use, other than artists too. But so I got one of those with different attachments. So I'm waiting for there to be enough in my reclaiming bucket, and then I'll remix, reconstitute it, add water, and remix it, and then I reuse that. So we do try to reclaim and reuse things as much as we can because it's cost effective, saves us money, but it's also kinder on the environment, right? Like if we can keep some stuff out of the landfill, then we might as well. So yeah, so right now, gosh, just in the last couple of months, we've gone through these 3 buckets of slip. Well, one's brand new, but it will be gone soon. This is how, when we first started buying slip, this is how I was buying my slip, in little 1-gallon jugs. And then it was like, oh, that's cute. That made like 3 things. So, especially when we're talking about like the big things. But for my pouring stuff, I actually went to Dollar Tree and I got some things that made sense to me. And so I got like some of these little baking trays here that I could sit some of the molds onto after you pour them out. And they can kind of drain into this, and then it's easy for me to reclaim it. I got a couple of spatulas that I use for mixing and scraping, just like you would in baking. And then I got a pour pitcher so that I can pour the slip into this, and it makes it easier with the pour spout to pour into the molds. I have another one here too, like a mixing bowl style, but I kind of use this as my water bowl, and I can add more water to the slip if I need to, if it's gotten too thick. I keep, a wet brush, a rag, my sponge, and I use my little tiny kitchen strainer to catch some of the blobs. So like I said, like all this stuff I got at Dollar Tree, and it's been successful so far in helping us pour molds. So, everybody has to start somewhere, and you got to start humble, right? So this is our humble beginnings. Let's see, no messages yet. So anyway, yep, this is cracking into a fresh bucket of slip. Ugh. Oh, I still have, that's a little on the thick side. Okay, and so, and don't mind the mess because this is essentially a working art studio right now. So you can see in there, and I am just going to mix it. So it's just like mixing a batter of anything. So kind of scrape the sides. I added some water to help make it a little less thick. Oh, you know, the realization just hit me that I actually have to go to work tomorrow. For so long, I've had Wednesdays off. And now we transitioned back to the office this week. And so I work in the office Monday through Thursday, 4 days a week. I'm back to 8-hour days. And then I telework on Fridays. So, yep. All right, so that's looking pretty decent. Okay, and I can't really move this out of the way too much, so I'm just going to set this here and pour this. It's a little thick, you can hear it. There's some chunkity chunks, but I will do my best to get this scraped out of here. All right, so I've got that in my pitcher here. It still is a little thick, so I'm probably going to add some water to it here in the pitcher now.
Papa?
What?
So you think of black. Watch this video.
All right.
I see. You recorded that the price is right.
Okay, so I'm going to add, well, I don't have much water in here to add, but squeeze some out of there. Okay, it's a pretty good consistency.
Quincy, get ready.
All right, so now I have to figure out what mold I'm going to pour. I think I'm going to pour the witch. hope I have enough in this one to pour the witch.
Mama, I think the band-aid's ready to come off.
Okay,
Because it's kind of.
I see.
It's got white on it. No. There's stain on it.
All right, I'll be able to talk more once I get all this stuff situated. Okay, so I have the molds. Then I have bands, so rubber bands that I put around the molds to help hold them together
Zayden.
so they're nice and tight. Yeah. Hey, Legs Diamond. How's it going? Do you think this is good enough?
What?
I think that'll be all right.
Is it tight on the sides?
Yeah.
It should be.
Okay. All right. So this is the little pumpkin or the Halloween plate. This one's pretty easy. I just put one little band around it. And then this is my little ghost on a fence guy. And one band. I will tell you, pouring molds is a workout. You use muscles that you forget that you have until the next day. Accurate?
Yes, I agree.
Okay, I think that's good. So I'm going to pour my witch first because that's the thickest and that's going to need the most time.
You probably want to pour another sun cloud.
Yeah, eventually. That's not a Christmas or a Halloween thing.
Yeah, they're just cool.
Oy.
So I'm gonna move this up in there. Oops. I don't know if they can see.
Okay. Woo. That's
So the whole thing
Good.
has to be filled.
yes. So that's gonna sit for a bit. Then I should have enough to pour this guy.
You alright?
That didn't sound like it.
Sounded like that hurt.
This is still pretty thick. Okay, we'll set that aside, and then we have this little guy, and I think I have enough in here to fill him. Let's hope. Okay. It's a little bit overfilled, but it'll be fine. Okay, let me move these little squares out of the way. So I have a little mold for little squares too, so people can paint little tiles or what have you. Oh, I want to pour another scarecrow. So let's see if I missed any conversations. No. Okay, where's the scarecrow?
I think I know where the scarecrow is.
Oh, I found it. Yeah, this little guy is pretty cute too. So this is the inside of a mold. I don't know if you can see. Yeah. Let's see. Nice studio, being creative, can't get in. Can't get in where, Jean? Oh, you took it away. Okay. All right, so got my little scarecrow here. And yeah, I don't have enough. So I'm going to have to open the next container. Hey, are you nearby?
I'm right here.
Can you open this for me, please?
What?
Nice studio, being creative, can't get in trouble. Exactly, right? My hands are busy and my hands are dirty. Can you open this one for me, please?
Yeah. Oh, sorry guys if you're seeing the back of my head here.
Thank you.
Yeah. There you go. Oh, that's cute.
Do I worry about air bubbles?
That's cute.
We haven't had really any issues
You
with
want to
it.
tap them.
We do kind of shimmy shake them a little bit, but and again, like I am by no means an expert at mold pouring. So if you are a slip cast expert or you've been around a lot of slip casting and you're like, oh my God, you're doing it wrong, like give me some tips. But complete amateur, I've learned slip casting, how to do it from YouTube videos. Because that's the awesome world we live in now, and you can learn cool things like that. So I am totally an amateur when it comes to this, but we're doing it, right? It's the only way to do it is to try things. And yeah, so let me show you here. So can you see this? We just opened as a fresh bucket of slip. So you can see it's really thick. So I usually do end up having to add some water to it. Yeah, I mean this is like quicksand.
It's heavy.
Okay, so for those of you who are like Gen Xers, maybe millennials, did you growing up have this like weird fear that like quicksand was going to be a real thing that you might encounter and have to be able to try to escape? Like, I mean, for you, like, didn't you think like quicksand was something like that you would encounter in life?
Never.
No?
Never.
Just me? I know it's not just me because I've talked to other people that are like, yeah. So yes, this is pre-mixed. Doing something instructive, nice earrings. Thank you. Hershey got me these earrings.
I do what I do.
Is it pre-mixed? It's scary. What's scary? Oh, quicksand. Have you been stuck in quicksand, Jean?
I've been stuck in.
You haven't been stuck in quicksand. So yeah, so I'm going to, I mean, as you mix it, it becomes smoother, obviously, but I do add water to help break the consistency, to make it thinner. And then, so essentially what we're using, these are plaster molds. So there's a difference between plaster and silicone molds, obviously. I actually do have a few silicone molds that I poured, and it really doesn't do well with the clay. With the clay like this clay, it works for like polymer clay, but not ceramic clay. So yeah, these are plaster molds, and they're designed to withdraw to wick away the moisture, suck away the moisture from the clay, and it leaves behind the shell then. So you let it sit enough for it to form the shell. You have to empty that. Then you have to let that dry enough for it to really set and kind of start to pull away from the edges. Then you can release it. So pouring slip casting, it really is a process. So by us doing slip casting for the studio, it is less money that we're essentially buying a distributor to get pieces from. We're also able to have some unique pieces, because a lot of these molds are like vintage molds. So from like the 70s, the 80s. I don't know if I have anything older than that, but I know I have some from the 80s and the 70s for sure. And which tells you like these things last a long time, right? As long as you take care of them. Yep. But I lost my train of thought. I don't remember what I was talking about. But it is definitely a process. And so it's better cost effective wise in terms of buying from a distributor, but it is labor intensive, right? There's a lot of work that goes into it. There's a lot of mess that goes into it, and it's our time. And we then have to, so we pour it, it cures, we fire it once to bisque, then we wait for somebody to paint it, then it gets fired again for glaze firing. So yeah, I mean, it's a process, but it's fun. I mean, sometimes pouring the molds and everything is just kind of like a entrancing activity for me. And so also one thing that I like, and I think it helps with my anxiety, I would say too, is actually cleaning the greenware. So once the pieces have cured and been taken out of the molds and they've dried, they're basically like leather dry, bone dry. And that's when I clean them up. So I go through and I shave away the lines where the molds met in the middle, buff away any, rough spots, try to repair any spots that might be a little messed up, not to harm the integrity too much, but just clean it up and make it look nice and smooth. And then, okay, this is actually a good consistency. And I really like that part because it's kind of relaxing and I can just kind of zone out. All right. So there's our little scarecrow buddy. We're going to let him sit over there. And in that time, my little Halloween plate is ready to be poured out. So you can see, I don't know if you saw when I poured it, but I poured it up to these lines and now it's sunk in quite a bit. So now for this, I do my best to shake. I don't know if I'll get anything out of this one. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. It just depends on how, yep, I'm ready. This is where I say it's a whole body workout. Okay, so I'm going to shake that a little bit. Whew, and then I just let that sit there. it will drain out. This little guy, he's actually almost ready. And the funny thing is too, or I don't know if it's funny or not, but the one thing about being here in the man cave is when we have a ton of these that are curing, they've all been taken out of the molds and they're drying. It gets so humid in here because it's just crazy the amount of moisture that gets put into the air then. But let's see if I missed any questions. Thanks, Jean. I appreciate that. So yeah, thank you. That's pretty much been it. Like I said, I've been back to the office. I don't know if you guys have seen my new haircut or not, but I cut my hair again. This was the third COVID haircut that I gave myself. This was the shortest that I went. I kind of wish that I hadn't put my bangs so short because, yeah. But yeah, the girls are back in school. They are all in online school again this year, at least for now, until potentially at the semester we can put them in the in-person school. But we made the choice to keep them online. Ouch, please go. So all three of them are in online school, including little Miss Sweets. She's a big kindergartner now, aren't you? So it was a little bit of a bummer because this was supposed to be the only year when they were all three in the same school. So I thought that'd be really fun for them because, you know, it's like during the day you try to catch a glimpse of each other and stuff. And like, I think the way it was set up is that the fifth graders and the kindergartners went to recess at the same time. So, you know, they won't get that experience, which kind of sucks, but this was the one surefire way we knew that we could ensure their health and safety. And so it was an opportunity for our school district. So I'm very thankful that we have that opportunity because I know a lot of school districts across the US are like, no, we're never going back to virtual, but it's a really good option to have. So it was so popular, so much so that our school district decided to leave it. And like, so it's no longer, because last year our girls were still tied to like our home school, like our neighborhood school. But this year, them being virtual learners, they're in their own school. So they have their own like school administration, they have a principal, a vice principal, counseling staff, they have everything. So they're set up to be successful. And so far it's gone over way smoother than it did last year. But also they've had time to prepare. So I would hope that it would have been smoother. But today I went and picked up, they all get school laptops. So today I went and got Zeta's laptop and got her set up. So yeah.
What's doing?
So it's just been busy. I mean, working, taking care of the studio, trying to figure things out. We got the kilns, but the kilns aren't up and running yet. And yeah, things around the house. I feel like we need to start shutting things down outside. We drained the pool a couple of weeks ago, I think. And I need to go out there. I did not do well with my garden this year. Like, and by I didn't do well, I mean I didn't do anything with it. There was some stuff that had us occupied in the spring, and I just never got the flow and the urge to really pick it back up. So I think we're going to redesign the garden for next spring, and hopefully really hit the ground running and go for it next spring. But I did have a ton of volunteer tomatoes from last year. So we had a ton of cherry tomatoes, had a ton of raspberries, but even the raspberries, like, I feel bad, but like I didn't pick the majority of them. I just didn't have it in me. I did grow carrots in containers, and that went swimmingly. Like the carrots were great. They did really, really well in containers. So, and I'm gonna have to get this mix again because it was the different colored carrots. So they were purple and white and yellow carrots. Those white and yellow carrots were delicious, like super, super sweet. Like the yellow ones almost were as sweet as like a banana, but still tasted like a carrot. So those were super cool. That was fun. So if I can get some carrot seeds, I might try to do some carrot seeds. We'll try to do some stuff in the greenhouse this winter. I also need to get, I hope I might switch the other greenhouse out here to the man cave, or she doesn't know that yet, but I might try to do that so that it's a little bit easier and accessible. And yeah, so I will hopefully do some stuff in the winter. Again, it just comes down to time. I'm just busy. But I guess this is like the prime of our life, right? Like our kids are all school age now. And life is a go-go. Okay, so I'm going to dump this scarecrow guy now. I think everything that came out of there is going to come out. So we're going to dump this guy. Yep. Nice and solid in there. Oy. I don't know if he wants to come out or not. I may have waited too long. I got to talking. Oh, nope, there we go. What am I dumping out? So I poured all that slip into there, but you don't want to leave all that because you want your pieces to be hollow. So you can see the excess slip is coming out. I'm going to set that like so. I'll be able to show you kind of. So remember when I poured this scarecrow, it was poured up to here. So you can see that the level of the slip has gone down way down in there. So what has happened with the plaster mold, it has pulled the moisture out of that slip, left behind the clay, and that leaves you with a shell. So then you want to dump out the excess on the inside so it will be hollow. So we're going to dump this guy now. Let's see how much comes out. Nothing right now. Oh, a little bit. Okay, I'm going to have to whole body it here. Yeah, there we go. And it's kind of like once you break the seal, then it all comes out. Can you see that? See coming out, dripping down. So yeah, I got some on my toe. And then I'll leave that sit for a few minutes there. Once I dump this, then I will usually go and take it, no. Over there or in the kitchen. Okay, so this one didn't really have much come out just because it sucks it down in. But now this is gonna go cure by the fans. Okay, so it just got noisier. Nebula does very creative. Thank you. Does it have to be hollow inside? Yeah, you want it to be hollow because if it's too thick, it will never really fully cure. And if there's too much moisture, it can blow up in the kiln. So you don't want that. Anytime you're putting anything into the kiln, you want to have a way for, you want to have it be somewhat hollow. So yeah. All right, so this guy is good. This guy, I guess, is good. I think Herschel's still playing, so I don't know how I'm going to get anything from this side. So I'm going to go set these to cure by the fan. All right, and then this one, I'm gonna leave in just for a little bit longer. I really want it to cure up well and not be too thin. Because if it's too thin, you also run the risk of it breaking. So, the whole process of slip casting and pouring molds is very nuanced, and it's nuanced to each mold that you pour. So you may know the process, but if it's your first time pouring that mold, you've got to really take your time with it. I tend to be impatient, and I tend to rush things a little bit. And so like last night, I ended up having 2 pieces that were ruined because I pulled them too fast and part of them stuck in the mold still. So, I mean, it happens. It's a little frustrating and very disappointing because it's like, dang, all that work. So you just have to be patient, but it is definitely a nuanced process. Like I said, with each new mold that you pour, it's like, okay, I know, because we already know, like, oh, if it's this one, we know that we have to let that sit longer. This one, I know I'm going to have to let it sit longer after I dump all the excess, because the nose is really deep. Oh, it's all good. The nose is really deep, and there's a lot of detail, and that's what broke off last night was the nose. So, yeah. I said I was going to pour a bunch of little pieces, but I really want to focus on my Halloween stuff. So how many molds can you make in a day? So the thing is with plaster molds, so I mean, we probably have about 200 molds. I mean, I guess essentially if you had the space and the energy, you could pour them all in a day. But like for us, how many molds did we pour in one day, do you think? Probably about 2 dozen. Yeah. And so the thing is with the plaster molds, because they're drawing that moisture out, you can really only use them 2 times, maybe 3 times, depending on how big they are, because it pulls that moisture, but it holds that moisture until it can dry out again. So you don't want them to be wet. And stay wet. So you want to give it a break. So a lot of times we'll pour 2 of the same one with some time in between. And yeah, but I mean, it's like an hour process or so to do like a round of molds. So, and that's before you can, an hour or so before you can take it out of the mold, if that makes sense. What? What? You don't want to talk on camera? Okay. So yeah, and like I have other little gadgets, like this is like a ketchup mustard squirter bottle, but this is really good for pouring the small molds because the small molds have really small openings. So instead of pouring the big pitcher of stuff into it, you're able to just squeeze, and that's helpful too. So, but I will say, like, getting into slip casting, it's a lot of fun, and I think that's one thing that helps set us out. You're welcome. Thank you. Which sets us apart from other studios. There are studios that pour the majority of their pieces, but they've been around for a long time, and they, got into the industry as ceramicists. I'm 2 years into this industry, other than just being a hobby painter. And even to the molds, I'd say we're a year into it, and not even full time. It's just been in the last few months that we've really been more active in pouring molds, but it's a process. There are really cool tools that can help you that I'm like, eventually, if we get the space, then that would be awesome. Because there's pouring tables where it's a table with like rods that are across that the molds can sit on, and then it's the table on the inside, it's like a big box, right? It's a big box, and the inside of the box dips down to the center or dips down to a drain, and then you're able to sit your molds on there. You fill your molds, you empty them. When you empty them, you just turn them over on the table. So essentially, like what I do with this, but on a much bigger scale, like a whole 6-foot table that does that. They also have like slip fountains where it's like a pump, and your slip goes into there, and you just have a little nozzle, like a gas nozzle, and you just go through and fill all your molds. So we are not at that point. It would be cool to be like that, but we're not there yet. But it is fun to be able to pour molds and to be able to offer pieces that other studios in the area aren't able to offer. And so we can still access all the things from distributors. But yeah. So yeah, that's probably more than you ever wanted to know about molds. You probably had never heard about this until now, because I didn't. Do you reuse the clay you dump? Yes, absolutely. So I talked about that a little bit earlier. So I, for sure, because there's nothing wrong with this, so I will reuse this. When it's in the liquid form like this, I usually will scrape it back into the container. When I am peeling it out of the mold and there's excess pieces, if I don't see that there's any plaster or anything like that, then I save that too. Now that is drier, so I will stick that in my reclaim bucket. Because eventually, once I have enough in my reclaim bucket, I'm going to use my drill mixer, mix it up with water, and then I'll have slip to use over again. So yeah, absolutely reuse it. I use as much as I can. And I mean, again, like it's pretty cost effective to pour your molds. The molds can get pricey depending on where you get them, how you get them. Like if you buy them brand new, they can be hundreds of dollars depending on what it is. I've been lucky. I've gotten all my molds. Some molds were donated at the very beginning. We had like maybe 5 molds that we had gotten that were donated. Others I've gone to Craigslist. And so I've driven to Linwood to get molds. I've driven to Silverdale. And then this last time I went out just here in Tacoma to an estate sale. And then I've also bought molds online. So, but that's the sucky part of buying them online, is the shipping cost. So, yeah. So I'm gonna see if I can take the bands off of these now. So let's see what condition these are in. Okay. So this was the little Halloween plate. This is one of Herschel's favorites. So I took the band off. And then what you need to do is you need to kind of push away the stuff that's on the sides. So I have a little tool. I don't know the name, but it's our little scoopy wooden tool is what we call it. And you want to scrape off what's the excess on the edges and what's in what the little hole is, which is called the collar. Yeah, and based on touching this collar, it's still pretty tacky and, you know, thick and wet to the touch, so this one's not ready to pull yet. But I am going to sit it upright like this so the fan can hit it. And I will go ahead and remove the bands from these guys. Super cute. So I'll let the air hit that one. Definitely still too wet. Okay, so we'll let the air hit that one as well. Okay. So I'm gonna take you back here and see. I think we can probably dump our little witch friend. Okay, so you'll remember this was to the top, and now you'll see it's sunk quite a bit. I'm gonna move this to the side just a little bit, and we're going to.
You gotta pour it all in that?
No.
Which one is this one? Ooh, be careful. I saw a big pop.
This is the witch.
Okay.
Hopefully it doesn't make a dent.
And I think I'm gonna set that on here to let that further drain. I got it on my knee, and it'll just go right back into the bucket. Because it's not getting eaten, folks.
Nope.
But yeah, I mean, in terms of reclaiming things, so definitely we reclaim the clay and all that stuff.
Did you want to do a T-Rex while you got up? Be careful, as this is bobbling pretty easy. Be sure to get the likes up, guys. Appreciate it.
I lost my train of thought. Oh, in the studio, we also reclaim paint. So, because a lot of times people, choose colors and they don't end up using all of them. As long as they haven't mixed the colors, then I reclaim them because, again, that's cost effective for us and it's not as much waste. So, I'll pour those.
These are cool.
Can you put
Mama,
a
can I help?
band on them?
Yeah.
Oh, this should work.
Yeah. Just put it long ways. Oh, it's tight enough to.
Yeah.
Those are cool. And what else?
Okay, so actually I'm just gonna pour from here.
That's a book.
Yeah, a lot of them are like that. I don't know why.
What?
Here's another one where the
There's a lot
pedal
of them.
bottom
Yeah.
is
Mama, can I help you?
Where the what?
where you, when you pour it, the bottom is right there. So you have to seal the bottom, and maybe the bottom's not meant to be sealed in.
Hang on.
For the kettle. Take a look at it.
Hey, Mama, where?
Watch out, Zoe.
Over
Sorry.
here. Okay, so we poured that little guy. So this one, what?
Can I help you?
No, wait. So are these not usable then?
Maybe not.
Well, that's not cool. I want them to be usable.
I mean, you could. It's just extra work.
But that's so tiny. I don't know if I can. And it's
Yeah.
supposed to have a lid, so there's
Right?
no
I think
lid.
it's just decorations. Zara, watch your feet.
Bummer.
Yeah.
Bummer.
Crazy, huh?
Okay, I still need a mini tea set now. So yeah, so this was a mold that I bought offline. And so it was a mold for tiny dishes. And so I thought that it was going to be like a tiny tea set like what we had. And so you can see, this is what it looks like. And I'll kind of help you try to make sense of it, right? So this here is a little pitcher. So like a little coffee pot. This is a little pan, a little saucepan. This is a little cup. You can see the tiny handle. That's a skillet. That's gonna be a bowl. That's a platter. That's a plate, and that's like a teacup, saucer. So then this is the other side of them. So then they go together like so. So on this one, there's these pieces here along this edge, and you pour here. And then if you want to pour the other pieces, you pour in these holes. So there's different sides of the mold that you can use to pour, which is kind of cool. I like the ones where there's multiple pieces. What? What? Not right now because I'm doing a video. Yeah, so those little birds will sit for a bit. I'm gonna see if we can lift off my witch friend. Oh no. Hey, I need help.
He has 2 minutes left.
Okay. So this should go all the way in, but it didn't. So there's a lot in here that I still need to get out. Oh yeah. See that? Okay, that's much better. So now I'll set that back here. Okay, what's my most popular mold? I don't know yet because up until recently, we haven't had a whole lot of pieces, but we do have, so the first molds we had little goat eggs, which sounds strange, but they're actually really cute. And they look like this. So you can see they're egg shaped, and they have little faces, and they have little goatees and horns. They're super cute. Those are pretty popular. we have a mold of, they're these little guys. They're like this big, and people call them pickle people. They're kind of like little potatoes or little beans. I don't know, but those are really popular. We had a duck, a bunny, and a mouse. People really liked those. I think people are going to be really excited about some of our Halloween and Christmas pieces. I just some of the Halloween pieces are just so cool. So, but yeah, those have everything that we have poured so far and have put out there. People like it, and they don't see it as any different. Can you go get me the Halloween plate that's closest to the fan, please? Yeah. And the little brown tool. It's on the other side by the rubber bands. Awesome. Thank you. You're a big help. Okay, so now, yeah, it's a lot less moisture. So we're going to try to take it off. Cut some of the middle parts out. Again, I'm trying not to go too fast, but I also want you guys to be able to see a completed process before I stop streaming. All right. Let's see if we can pop this. I see. I don't know if this is ready to pop yet, guys.
Mama, panda.
Oh. Okay, I can fix it. Okay, so this is one of those times I can kind of show you what happens when things go wrong. So the slip was a little too thick. The slip was a little too thick, and so it didn't quite reach this edge right here, but that should be fine. And then it wasn't quite ready to come out, so there are some cracks. But how I fix that is my wet paintbrush and some slip, and just go paint over it. Because the slip is essentially like, well, it's clay, but it's kind of like a glue, right? So I'm gonna paint over that, and then once it dries, then I can smooth that area down. So that's what we will do. So yeah, leave this. Every time we have a mess up, I'm like, oh, that'll be the one that I paint. So, yeah, it's not quite ready to pop off completely. trying to make the slight repairs while it's still wet and pliable. So yeah, so that's how it looks. There was a question. So they're not hard or solid. No, they're very much like this is what I pulled out of the collar. So this, like, here's a ball in my hand, and it's just like clay. So essentially the slip, because the moisture gets pulled out, it ends up just like clay. Because it is clay, it's just liquefied clay. So I'm gonna let this sit and hopefully it will cure okay. So I'm gonna put this back by the fan. Okay, and then I'm going to take my witch friend, and so you can see how glossy that is inside of there, because that's just all wet clay. So I'm going to take this one and let it sit and cure in the fans for a bit. Hop down, Quincy. Ouch! Get down! You scratched my legs. Okay, so that was an adventure in slip casting with me. Not as many random thoughts as I thought would come up because I guess I was focused. I'm trying to get all these
Mama,
pieces unstuck so I can put some of my good slip back in here. What?
even if I don't eat my food, but my food's pretty good, can I eat one of those yogurt?
Sure. All right. Then we'll put this back in there. Then I'm going to add all my slip. This is my good slip, so this will be ready for another pour. And the cool thing is with this is like even the stuff that gets chunky, I just scrape it into my reclaim bucket. It'll get re-moisturized,
What's okay?
and then it'll be able to be used again. What's wrong with you?
I was in there laughing. It was just funny.
No, my witch wasn't drained all the way.
Oh, did you get it?
Yeah, I think
Okay. Cool.
so.
Oh,
Then-
need more flat trees, babe.
I know. I'm done for tonight because I got to read to the girls.
Yeah.
I mean, this is already an hour. Like
I know, it's crazy.
it's a lengthy process.
It is.
So as much as we want to be cost effective in like selling these pieces affordably, we have to take into account our time. And we can't just give things away, so. But I feel like all of our pieces are priced reasonably. And us being able to pour molds with small pieces like this allows us to have more of a, like a cheap section, like $5, $10 pieces. So that's nice. Alright, so I've got all that back in there. This is going to be good to go for another day of pouring. I put my lid on. Put my lid on, and then I am good to go. So, You guys are not gonna get to see the whole process of everything of me removing it completely from the mold, because like I said, it takes a long process. So for some of these bigger pieces, I said it was an hour, but it's already an hour and 10 minutes. So it is a longer process, and curing time and all of that. And so I'm probably gonna get the kids ready for bed, read to them, and then I'll come back downstairs and take care of it. But I'm gonna let you go because I have things to do. But it was so nice to be able to hop on and do a live stream with you guys. I still love y'all. I still miss you guys. I just am busy and I don't always have the energy to hop on and do live streams or do videos. You know I don't like to do recorded videos. I like to talk to people. But anyway, that is that. And hope you guys have a fantastic Tuesday. Have a wonderful hump day tomorrow. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.